Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest and exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Hey Motorheads, welcome to Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com. If you've got a performance car like this Shelby GT350 making 500 horsepower, you know when you take it to the track, the enemies are heat, vibration, and pressure. And a lot of times the hoses and the fittings can be the weak link in that. Ken, why do people seem to ignore hoses and fittings?
Well, a lot of people, they go after the more performance parts thinking that their money investment is best in the performance parts. But they got to remember, this is what's feeding the performance parts, whether it's your brakes, whether it's your turbos, whether it's your superchargers. This is still the heart of it. This is your vein.
So Roadrunner Performance, how do you improve on the standard hoses and fittings you might find out there?
A lot of things that we try to do is, one, we try to pressure test everything. We make sure that everything is still up to par for people. You know, we won't ever take it to burst in a normal application, but I want to make sure that if something sticks, something goes bad, that our parts will hang out for the longest.
I don't want to bury the lead here. Let's talk about how much pressure your hoses can take and the fittings as well.
Well, this is a simple PTFE hose, which we ran up to 9,700 PSI before it burst at the fitting, which is unheard of. Yeah. This is a put-together fitting.
That's insane.
And then we tried to crimp one. We came out with some new crimp, but you know the hose wouldn't last what our fittings would, so it burst at 10,000.
Is that all?
That's all, yeah.
What's the standard pressure that a hose is really going to need to?
Standard pressure, you're going to run working pressure somewhere around 600 to 1,000 max. If you're dealing with a power steering unit, it could be a couple thousand, but we're still well within range of that.
But if you settle for less than Roadrunner Performance, you can have a really bad day if something like this goes bad.
Oh yeah, you could lose thousands of dollars on a Pro Charger or anything of that nature. You know, that is the heart.
Roadrunner Performance, everything you have here looks better than any hoses and fittings I've ever seen as well.
Well, we go out and we do different things. We have a cutting edge fitting that's really cool. Take a little more time. We cut it one more time after the anodizing process, so it just gives somebody a different option. You know, when you're laying it out with a black hose, it's pretty cool.
So it's something like this with the black and the silver as well, which looks different.
Correct, Dave.
Very cool. And so let's kind of walk through what you have here. I know your fittings are one of the things that really make you famous here, and you've got a new one here.
It's considered a dry brake, but what we did, because the original dry brakes didn't have a way to mount them, we did a bulkhead style. This bulkhead style gives you the ability to mount this anywhere. Even though that we're coming in with a number 6, our bodies are bigger, so we're going to flow an 8. So we always try to give you the best flow, best product availability.
And it's a quick disconnect, also a dry brake as you said, and this is great because once you disconnect it, you're not going to be leaking fluid. If you've got a Mustang like this and you're out on the track, maybe you catch a front wheel, you need to change the brake, this comes in handy.
We came out with this, Dave, because you can just disconnect it. If you're a drifter or a racer, you have a different assembly ready to go, there it is. You're not going to have any air in the system when you plug this back in, so you plug your new piece on, hook it up, and you're gone.
Back on the racetrack. And what other, so the lines here that you have too, a lot of different varieties, a lot of different finishes.
Well, we keep a lot of different finishes because some people have a preference. Black obviously is always good. You know, this is a titanium fitting. It gives you a nice offset from the black hose and brings you right in if you're going to use a stainless hose. We carry PTFE. PTFE is for your high pressure. You know, anytime that you're hooking up a power steering or something that needs high pressure, we got it. We also have it with the black coating, which just gives it a little bit more protection around it instead of rubbing against the stainless steel. We carry the traditional push lock. We try to keep it in 2 different colors only. We don't want to get too fancy with that. We also have fuel systems. Here's part of our fuel system that we actually put a nut on instead of having the old style plastic ones that this car would probably have before it was built for a racing. It gives you a nice solid fit. You got 2 O-rings inside. So when you put this baby together, it's not going anywhere. It's locked down solid. The nut does it.
And Ken, tell me about the lightweight hose down here at the end.
Well, a lot of hot rodders and car restorations are using them. It has great looks and it really offsets our fittings well. We have it in black and black with a blue braid.
All right, Ken, thank you. We're going to bring in your better half here. Paula, come on in here. It's not just the hoses and the fittings for Roadrunner Performance, it's the accessories. You guys thought of everything. Right down to the vice jaws you have there.
Right, we have 2 kinds of vice jaws. We have the aluminum and the plastic composite. These go in your vice and they protect the fittings because they're made out of aluminum. That way you're not going to scratch them. And they're also
Magnetic, they stick right to your vise there. And this is a great piece. I know this is very popular at all the shows you go to.
It's
a simple crescent wrench, but it's not a simple crescent wrench. What makes it different?
Well, my husband, Ken, as you just met, he designed this wrench. It has 4 points of contact. It fits your hand really well. It's lightweight, and it goes out to a 16, so it's very handy to have. And the most important thing is, it does not scratch the aluminum fittings. And it's got a quarter turn, drops the fitting. So this is really, really popular with all of our racers, and they have it with them at all of the races.
All right, there you have it. If you are a builder, if you're into high performance, if you're a racer, you're going to have to run, do not walk to the internet. Find a dealer near you, roadrunnerperformance.com. We're going to return with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com right after this, so stay tuned.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need.
You are cruising along with Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com. Let me tell you a story. About 10 years ago, I bought a used pickup truck and it had a hard tonneau cover on it. And every time I needed to get something out of the vehicle, invariably it had slid all the way up to the cab, and this is what I had to do. This is my routine. Every time I get to the house or I get to the airport, I'm doing that. And I end up with messy clothes, and I end up sweaty, and I hated it. Guess what? There is help. How can you rescue me, Jeff? Please help me with this situation.
Well, listen, we've all done that. It's why we came up with the Bed Buddy. Bed Buddy is a very simple tool. It works really, really well, and it's just something that folks at home probably saying, I use a rake or I use a club or whatever like that. That's great. Bed Buddy is better than all of those. It's 20 inches when it's closed, so it's very small, very compact. You can mount it in lots of different places, but it extends out to a full 5 feet when it's fully open. That'll get you all the way to the back of a standard size pickup truck.
And everybody's looking at this wondering how strong it is. Is this going to hold up to pulling heavy stuff out of the back of the truck?
Right, so there's a case in there you'll see in a minute. Those are about 40 pounds each. We stacked up 6 of those cases on a pallet. It's over 240 pounds and pulled that out of the truck. It's very, very strong. It has a steel tip on it. It's a metal body. It's very, very durable and it holds lots of weight. We haven't broken it yet.
What inspired the birth of the Bed Buddy?
Just like your situation, I was on a family trip out in Idaho, whole truck bed full of luggage, baskets, all that kind of stuff. The only difference is that I wasn't in a nice air-conditioned garage like you are. It was freezing cold outside, the truck was full of snow, and I had to climb on in there and get all that stuff out. I decided that I needed a product that was just at the ready, handy, when I needed it to get all that stuff out. But more importantly, I wanted something that was up and out of the way when I didn't need it. So I didn't have to go and get something. I didn't have to go and get something out of my cab or go get something out of my garage in order to get all that stuff out of my truck. I wanted it to be right where I needed it, when I needed it.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, Jeff said he wanted to have something at arm's reach when he needed it. How do you keep the Bed Buddy handy?
Well, when you first notice the Bed Buddy, you see that it's got 2 27-pound pull force magnets on each Bed Buddy. Each Bed Buddy comes with a mounting plate. That mounting plate is used specifically for trucks that have aluminum beds, heavy surround bed liners, or plastic bed liners. Each one of these plates in the package comes with 3 self-drilling 3/4 inch screws. Takes about 60 seconds. You find a flat space vertically or a flat space horizontally in the truck or on the tailgate on the floor bed of the truck. And once you figure out where you want to put it, you drill in the screws, and from there you just attach the Bed Buddy, and it always stays right there.
And you made sure it was short enough to mount in a place like that?
Yes, we designed it to be 20 inches, so that way you can close your tonneau covers and you never have to worry about it hitting the tonneau cover. Speaking
of tonneau covers, I'm going to roll this one back so folks can see how the Bed Buddy actually works there. So obviously you have to extend it, and for long beds it works because it goes out to 5 feet, and that's about all you need.
Right, so most of the time you can open it up to the first 4 feet. More than likely that's going to get 90% of your equipment out. So you grab a box, you pull the box forward, move it out of the way, grab your suitcases when you're at the airport or coming home. Now, most of the time that's all you need. But sometimes you have something like a box that goes all the way to the cab of your truck, and you open it up an extra foot. Now you have 5 feet, and you take it and you can reach behind, you get to the back of that box, and then you pull that box forward.
And that, Dave, is why you don't want to hook. That's why you have the flat spade there at the end.
Correct. The flat spade will help you get in between the cab of your truck and in between the box to pull it out. Now, the other cool feature about this is we have all dropped screws or nails or bolts or washers in the back of our trucks.
And they rattle around there all day long?
They rattle around there all day long. You come home from work, you're exhausted, you don't feel like climbing your truck. Well, open up the Bed Buddy, turn around, use the magnets, and grab each one of those products.
Perfect. Same thing if you drop something under the truck as well. Bed Buddy makes things more convenient, but it can also save your body. It's a safety thing.
Yes, it definitely helps. What it helps with is climbing in and out of the back of your truck, whether it's a dry day, it's raining, it's wet, snow, ice, muddy from hunting or fishing, coming home, or being at the spot. It helps save you from having to climb in and out of your truck. It helps saves your knees and saves your ankles. The other thing it helps saves you is when you get in the back of your truck to climb in to get something, you have to use your back. You have to bend over, use your back, grab it, and pull it forward. With this, you no longer have to do that.
No more crawling up on the tire to reach in over the bed. No more crawling into the bed under your tonneau cover. The Bed Buddy is going to change your life if you're a truck owner. You can find it at bedbuddy.com. By the way, if you have a shop and want to become a reseller for Bed Buddy, send them a note, info@bedbuddy.com. And you can find more Motorhead Garage presented by Dragonfiretools.com right after this.
Motorhead Garage, brought to you by Dragonfire Tools, industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. You know, you buy a Bronco like this, or maybe a Jeep, you buy it because of the freedom. You can take the doors off, you can take the top off, but when you get to the store and you want to run inside, you can't leave your stuff in there. You found out you don't have any freedom at all. You've got a solution for it though, Alan. Tell me about Diabolical Inc. and what you've made to fix this problem.
So what I came up with is an enclosure for the back end. I call it slipstream. We came out with it in about 2017 for the Jeeps, last year for the Broncos, once the Broncos started delivering. And it's a full enclosure that allows you full use of your vehicle still, meaning there's nothing that has to be drilled, has to be modified, and yet it's not a box. It's not limiting your height, it's not limiting your depth.
I know you said there's no drilling. A lot of times that means you got to stick stuff on and everything. How does it actually mount to the vehicle?
What it is it's 26 parts that makes the enclosure. Everything's engineered so every part has a specific reason. So at the top corner, we have a bracket that attaches to the factory mount point. In the forward D-ring, we mount to there, and then we also mount underneath your side wall panels to 2 factory bolt locations.
Once this is in, then how do I get access to it, and what are the different ways I can open it?
So 2 ways. The main way that keeps it fully secure is once you close the tailgate, it's enclosed. We've also put a access panel on the short seat, so the 60-40 split seat. So if you want to carry 2 belted passengers in the back seat, you can put the small seat down, open the access panel, put skis, a run to Home Depot, putting some lumber in, anything long that needs to go in and out, or for quick access to throw like a backpack, a purse, something in the back end where you're not showing everybody you're doing it from the tailgate when you're doorless, topless, or just everyday use.
How does this compare to other rear end boxes that I've seen out there?
You said it right, it's a box. The other ones that are out there are just walls, top and forward wall that go in, bolt in, and so you're limited on height, you're limited on depth. What this is with the full frame system for the folding removable top and the folding removable wall, now you got full access.
How easy is it to make all the transformations you need, taking panels off and that sort of thing?
So once you have everything installed, it's virtually about 60 seconds to remove the top panel and 60 seconds to either lay the wall down with the seats down or pull the wall completely out, because it's quick release pins that go in through the frame system. So you're just reaching in from underneath and pulling 3/8 diameter pins out in multiple locations in all the corners, so that's what holds it as a structure. And that's what also gives you full width and full depth when they're out.
How strong is this? Can I put stuff on top?
We made it to where you can still throw 150 pounds on top, and 150 pounds is a lot. I always joke around with people is, yeah, you can throw a Yeti cooler up there, but you still have to lift it up there.
Right.
So it is sturdy enough to do that. We include tie-down rails in the kit so that when you put something up there, you can actually use bungee cords or straps to it and hold it nice and tight.
You have the mats on top of there. That's an accessory we can get along?
That is an accessory, correct. That is EVA Marine Deck Mat pads. I tried different types of rubber. Rubber stays hot. It doesn't stick down well, especially out in Utah where we're at. The heat's brutal. It'd be like touching the hood of your car. So I happened to find marine deck mats on a boat I went out on, and that became our go-to. So it's a non-slip pad, and it also reduces the heat from underneath. So if your dog wants to get up there and sit up there while you're out driving around or taking some time out, the dog's not getting hot.
This is incredibly versatile by itself. but you can make it even more versatile by adding accessories. What else can you get with it?
So a couple of accessories that are pretty standard that a lot of people asked for initially was molly panels that rivet to the underside of the folding top and to the back of the wall. So you can attach gear bags, things that you don't want rolling around, but you want quick access to. A lot of film, drone, photographers, tool guys like attaching specific things to those areas. And then the other thing that we came out with is our full width, full depth slide floor and drawer system. So it actually just attaches to the 4 D-ring bolts in the floor, but it's a full 500-pound slide, full aluminum tray, front to back, full use. And you can set the drawer top at 4 inches all the way to 6 inches high. So you've got the variation in what you want to carry in your vehicle.
I mentioned Jeeps and Broncos. What range are we talking about for vehicles when it comes to the Slipstream?
So our Slipstreams go all the way back to 2007 JKUs, all the way up through the JLUs, and then the 6th generation Bronco. We do still have the capacity to do some custom stuff for TJs, as we're always expanding, making some modifications to being able to do 2-door versions and stuff like that. So we want to help everybody get the right quality of product, and this is 100% made in the United States. It's made out in Utah. We're proud of that. We use all local vendors, large machine shop that does a lot of work for other people in the industry. So it's a really good fit for us to grow as a business and a brand to keep adding other vehicles to our arsenal of our products.
It's a great way to buy American. It's a great way to get your freedom back. When you have a Bronco or a Jeep, you can find it at Diabolicalinc.com. And you can find more Motorhead Garage presented by Dragonfiretools.com just around the corner.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics, and by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Well, it's great to be back here at Motorhead Garage with my good friend Dave and the best crew in the business. And you guys are going to love this. Amsoil stepping up to the plate and bringing us 52 tech tips. We all love the tech tips. Perhaps your car is a little bit sluggish. Well, maybe you're going along and you're losing performance. Well, that might just mean that your knock sensor is doing its job. What is a knock sensor? What does it do and how does it work? Well, a knock sensor does exactly what it says it does. It senses knocks or vibrations in the coolant. How does that work? Well, here's a demonstration of a cylinder, and the piston's going up and down in here, and it comes up to the compression stroke, and then bam, it fires. That's the power stroke. Well, we want everything clean, we want everything good in here, so that piston's not rattling from side to side. When it rattles from side to side like that, well, you're actually getting that right there. And that actually, inside of the coolant, causes vibrations in the coolant, and then the knock sensor sitting right there in the coolant jacket. It's a piezoelectric generator. It actually senses that, and then it tells the computer, hey, that piston's rattling, and when that piston's rattling, bam, we retard timing, losing performance. Not a good thing. And you can look at the graphic right there. You can see the computer on the top. It's actually sensing that vibration. And down below, you see the knock retard at 0. Nothing's going on. When it starts rattling, it's at 3 degrees. Len, if I'm at 3 degrees retard, I'm losing power. That's not a good thing.
You are, and people may not even notice that until they go to fill up at the gas station. They're noticing they're using more fuel, the car isn't as responsive. So why not keep the generator from doing its job in the first place by doing some simple maintenance items? And we're talking about Amsoil Performance Improver today. It's an extremely potent detergent. It's got some really cool technology inside of it that's designed to keep deposits from happening on top of the piston that's going to create detonation, pre-ignition like you were discussing earlier, and cause that knock sensor to do its job. So by using the proper combination of chemistry in here, we can keep that all from happening, keep the engine clean, keep the performance level and fuel economy up, and basically just keep that car happier.
Absolutely. If I'm not retarding the timing, I don't have to push the gas as much. I'm saving gas as well, and that's a huge thing today. Now, if you want to know more about these products, just check them out on the website, amsoil.com.
So you have a street rod or a classic car and you love everything about it, but maybe you have the original stereo in it. Well, you know it sounds terrible. Or you have some aftermarket stereo that you bought. It sounds great, but it looks way out of place on your vintage dash. Well, thanks to Custom Autosound, you can have a system that sounds great and looks like the original equipment for your vehicle. Plus, you get all the modern functions you could ever want Bluetooth, you can hook up your MP3 player, a CD player, and even your satellite radio receiver. Custom Autosound has a radio to fit your specific vehicle. In fact, they have over 400 different applications. And if they don't have one specifically for your car or truck, they have universal radios that'll look period correct in your dash. Okay, so what if you don't want a stereo in your dash? Maybe you have a vintage vehicle that never came with one in the first place. Well, Custom Autosound has you covered there too. They have the secret audio hidden classic car radio, and it can give you all the features I've talked about, but it hides away under your dash. It even comes with a remote that lets you change the songs and the volume from up to 40 feet away. And how about this one? This is called the slide bar radio, and when it's turned off, it looks just like a classic analog radio, but you slide the bar over and you've got a sophisticated modern stereo. And believe me, with Custom Autosound, it's not just about looks, it's also about quality. Custom Autosound radios are made in the same facilities where other major name brand electronics are made, so you know it's a high quality piece to begin with. And on top of that, the company has super strict standards. In fact, they put every one of their radios through rigorous testing before they even leave the factory. Every single radio is given one final hands-on test before it's shipped out, just to make sure all the electronics and all the features are working perfectly. Custom Autosound has been at it for over 5 decades, so you know you can trust them to deliver the highest quality and best looking stereo you could ask for. Find the car stereo for your classic car or hot rod at CustomAutosoundMFG.com. Thank you for making us a part of your day. We appreciate your tuning in to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. One little note, if you have a product you want to see featured on the show, send me a note. Dave at MotorheadGarage.tv. We'll get you here in the studio to show it off to the entire world. From our entire crew here at Motorhead Garage, we will see you same time, same sandbox next week. So long.